Hello everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of the Heroes Table. I'm your host Hisha, and with me I have my co-host Midnight and Teluvius.
Hello.
Hey everybody.
It's a good start when you follow the words. But okay, everything seems good on the technical side. I just wanted to make sure that I didn't accidentally break something. Alright, well, hello everyone. Hope you have had a good week. Don't think we have any big Eternity news between last episode and this one.
I don't think so.
I know internally we had some troubleshooting on some of the issues that we talked about last episode, so some of that got sorted out. But yeah, I don't think we have any major updates.
Yeah.
Just fixing issues and working on new stuff in the background.
Yeah, it looks like the invite button we were having should be fixed. The team was aware of that and was already working on it. Yeah, so yeah, everything looks like they're aware of it. That got resolved, and I assume fixes are coming for everything else. So
that would make sense.
Should be pretty well covered there. There was I did have sort of an issue with like syncing gold to the chain that I just thought I'd mention because other people might run into the same thing. If you start syncing a reward to a chain and cancel the transaction or it doesn't go through, then you have to ensure that it finishes on the same chain. So like I started syncing my gold on AVAX. It didn't complete. I tried to sync it then to Polygon to buy something in the auction house, and it wouldn't let me do it. And I was trying to figure out why. And I had to complete the sync on AVAX, desync it from the chain, switch over to Polygon, and resync. So just if you're trying to sync stuff to the chain and you're sort of having some trouble, make sure that you haven't tried to sync it to a different chain previously.
So did you know that it failed the first time? Like, did you know that it wasn't successful on AVAX, or?
I had not tried to sync my gold in so long. It was one of those things that I did a long time ago, and I think I synced some of it, and then I canceled it. I like started it and then canceled it. But it was so long ago I had forgotten. So, all I remembered was trying to sync it to Polygon and going like, why isn't it working? And that was why. So I went back to AVAX, synced it. It synced right up. And then I desynced it through the bank, which went through, fast as well, and then went over to Polygon. So just an extra sort of troubleshooting step if you're having some oddities in terms of buying stuff on chain.
So while we are on the topic, I just put up the Unsync bank page just now. When stuff is partially synced, it will show up with a red border. And I don't know if this is a new thing, but there's also a warning on the item if you hover over it that says this item is partially synced. So it will not show up in auction house or crafting until it's finished synchronizing. Now I don't actually know when I started syncing this. It's not something that I feel like I have initiated, but I must have at some point. So I'll basically have to resolve this. It seems like it's a very small amount that I have synchronized sometime. It's like 200 gold or less. But yeah, it will show up like this with a red border, and there will be a warning. If you see this, whatever amount is stuck in this unfinished transaction will not be able to be spent, neither on-chain or off-chain. So you will have to finish the sync, and yeah, if you want to unsync it again, then you will have to do that. I also don't know which chain this is, probably AVEX. So I don't know if it will tell you. Let me try to do finish sync. Yeah, it's not happy. Okay, I don't know what happened now, but I was not prompted anything. I might have been on the wrong chain. Okay, so it just didn't do anything. So yeah, I think because I'm on Polygon and this was supposed to be on AVEX, that's probably why we saw what just happened. So I would have to switch to AVEX and finish the synchronization there. But it's a good thing that it's not gonna completely break everything when it doesn't work. So
Yeah.
And yeah, as this note says up here, syncing is not a requirement for playing the game, but it will be required for the auction house for the time being.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, and I believe
Alex's comment.
Mhm.
Yeah, go ahead.
Would be nice to select certain amount of gold and other items. Yeah, that's true, and I thought you could do that, but I guess not. No, it is an all or nothing, it seems. Yeah.
I think when you desync, you can choose how much. Because I just desynced some gold. I think you can choose how much gold to take back off chain, but it, like you said, it doesn't look like you can choose how much to put on chain. So maybe that'd be a nice feature addition.
Yeah, it's probably just a legacy from when it was just rewards that you would claim on the chain.
Yeah.
And they haven't updated it to support that after it was changed to this like bidirectional thing. Oh, okay, I don't know what's happening now. It's doing weird stuff. But yeah, that makes sense. Definitely would be cool to be able to distinguish. Another thing that I want to point out now that we are on the topic, you can also see the numbers by hovering on the gold. And I'm pretty sure the value that the gold indicator is showing is your available spending amount. So it subtracts everything that's in syncing. So like here it says I have 33k, but 289 of it is syncing, so it's not included in the total, is what I believe is happening here. So just wanted to point that out. And then you can also see your balance on chain and off chain. And I guess it's the same with Glory once that becomes a thing. And I noticed they removed the USDC one. So we only have gold and Glory now. I'm sure something will be there to to replace it eventually. All right.
That's interesting. But you can, so funny enough, if you go to the auction house or the store, you can see USDC.
Oh yeah, and Frex as
So
well.
that pops back up.
Yeah, it makes sense to have them there. I think they are being replaced though, so that's probably a reason it's been removed.
Yeah.
But there'll be more on that later.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Say no more, say no more.
Definitely not alluding to anything. Okay. So yeah, has anyone paid attention to markets this week? Because I have not really. I don't know a lot about what's been going on. Been busy with work this week.
I think you mentioned before we started, the main thing I saw was a headline about something like $100 billion have been removed from the banking system, but that's okay. We're good. We're good. It's steady. Don't worry. It's just $100 billion pulled out of the system.
Nothing to worry about.
Yeah. Don't look at the man behind the curtain.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't lost 100% of Bitcoin's value yet, so I mean, it can't be that bad.
Did see that the SEC is given notice Coinbase of notice of
Wells notice.
Yeah, Wells notice. So we'll see if anything happens there.
I'm not sure how big of an impact that would have. Like, obviously, there would be some fear probably because it's an exchange, but
yeah,
I'm not sure what effect it would have on the broader market.
Yeah, it seems like they just keep. I don't know. It seems weird because, like, of all the exchanges and all the centralized exchanges that seem to like be trying to comply with all the regulation at all times, Coinbase is seems like number one.
Yeah, for sure.
They seem to try really hard to stay in line, and yet they keep going after them. Like, guys, just let them be. What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's up with that part as well.
Yeah.
But I saw some people speculating that Coinbase would, exactly for that reason, would be able to win this potential lawsuit. Because they have been so much, like they have tried so hard to be compliant.
Mm-hmm.
But of course we don't know, at least I don't know, what the Wells notice is for. So I don't know how much basis whoever's suing them, I don't know. Is it the SEC that gives Wells notices?
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is that the SEC is trying to get them for.
Seems like anything they can. It just seems like an odd choice when you have other, projects and centralized exchanges that are trying to like skirt the rules. Why do you keep badgering the one that isn't?
No, I mean I think all the moves recently have been very suspicious. Like it seems baseless, like some of the actions that they do, and I don't understand why they would go the way that they do.
Yeah.
To me, it seems like they are either desperate or they are about to shoot themselves in the foot, like big time. But I mean, obviously they must have motives that we don't know of yet. Or they simply just want to remove the competition for the digital dollar they're working on.
Yeah, seems weird. I don't know.
I don't remember if we talked about this last week or if this happened between, during the week. But the EU made a stupid law that they passed, or I don't know if it's law or what it is, but they passed something that is very stupid with the kill switch that is required in all smart contracts. So basically, they want to impose all smart contracts to have a kill switch without going more into detail on what a kill switch is. Like, how do you make a kill switch for all smart contracts? It doesn't seem possible to me, and the ruling just seems weird in the first place. Like it seems extremely difficult not only to enforce but also just to consider when working on smart contracts. Like what am I gonna prevent?
Mm-hmm.
And like, what if someone manages to exploit the kill switch? Like, who's gonna be to blame? Am I gonna get blamed for not doing it just doesn't make sense. You can't impose that kind of stuff on software, in my opinion. At least not without making it clear who will take the fall when something goes wrong. Because we don't put kill switches in all pieces of software that gets developed.
Right.
No, it seems very weird.
I think it's to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
Right. And is the idea that like if you're trying to protect people from, I don't know, contract exploits or something, like maybe that's why they think that's a good idea, but like aren't you just creating something that is so much easier to exploit? If every smart contract has this kill switch that just ends, shuts down the contract or ends, blocks all future transactions or anything, then you are handing devs, you're handing malicious actors like a gift. Because, we have to have this in there. Don't worry, we'll never use it. We'll never use it. Just don't worry about it. And then thank you for all your money. Goodbye. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah,
The hell are you thinking?
That was my view on it as well. It seems like whoever voted on this and whoever suggested this has no clue what the fuck they're talking about. Like they have absolutely no clue what it is that they are making rules on.
Yeah.
Because for anyone that has just a little bit of sense and a little bit of knowledge on what a smart contract actually is, would know that it just like it causes more harm than good to have something like this. So I don't know what the motivation for doing that is, and as long as we don't know how they are gonna enforce it, like again, and also the problem would already be so bad that the kill switch wouldn't even work unless it's automatically triggered, but then you would also have to make sure that it's only triggered when there's so much overhead and so many possible fail scenarios in just the kill switch alone, like on like so many things that can go wrong in doing it correctly.
Right.
But once an exploit takes place, and if you have to manually activate the kill switch, like the exploit is long gone before you even get to trigger the kill switch.
Yeah.
Like there's no way it's gonna work. And I think the only thing this is gonna achieve is people are gonna move their business outside of the European Union, and I suppose outside of the US as well. So I mean, we're just giving away what potential control we could have by making rules that make sense.
Right.
Now it's just gonna move to like Saudi Arabia probably. Because they are already like betting very much on the whole like decentralization and like Dubai and stuff as well. Like I think most of the crypto business or blockchain business in general, if they keep fucking up like this, is just gonna move to that part of the world because like they have nothing to lose there, I guess.
Well, and they're going to be headquartered out of Dubai or wherever is friendly to crypto, and then U.S. investors and EU investors are still going to invest, and like it doesn't accomplish anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more. It's the only thing it does accomplish is it's making it more risky for European and U.S. investors to invest because if all these things apply for any business you do in these parts of the world, then the only solution is to geo-block users in the EU and the United States.
Yeah.
So if you, as an European Union or United States citizen, want to invest in this, you have to bypass the geo-block. And who's going to save you when your money gets stolen then?
Yeah.
So, yeah. It seems to me like it will cause more harm than good.
Right. I mean, we all know banning stuff works, right?
Yeah, it's
impeccably, especially things that are easily bypassed.
Yeah, there's definitely no one that's tried to ban something and been unsuccessful in doing so.
What a mess.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to, I don't know. sort of saw this coming, trying to stop it, trying to prevent it from happening when it's not feasible. It's not something that's you're able to prevent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it
So
would
either-
make so much more sense to just try and like figure out how to use it to their advantage rather than like either just block it or try to work with it. It doesn't make sense to dance around the issue by like not blocking it but trying to discourage people by making stupid decisions that just put more people in danger. Like
Yeah.
just take a stance instead.
Right.
But they keep saying they have no interest in banning it, or at least the US. I don't know. I don't think the European Union as an entity has made any statements regarding their alignment to crypto, like good or bad. I know they are looking at blockchain as a technology for certain things, but they haven't made any comments, as far as I know, on like their stance towards it.
They don't need to. The key to the illusion of freedom and a democracy is to make it almost impossible to do something you don't want people to do. They don't need to ban it. They just need to make it impossible to work within the red tape and the regulations.
Yeah.
And they will still get
make
the
it-
outcome they're looking for, which is they don't want anybody to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Make it so risky that, you know, it becomes untenable for anyone to actually use it.
Yeah, make the problem disappear by itself.
Yep.
And they think they're clever.
But I just
And
don't
they're doing
understand.
it. We just can't stop you.
Yeah. It just doesn't make sense because, like, they, at least in the US, they are claiming it to be for the benefit of the investors. Like, we're protecting the investors. But in this case, you're just putting more people at risk. Like, you're increasing the risk for the investors. There's no way this would have a positive impact on investors.
Right.
Well, by making it so risky for investors that they don't invest in crypto, they are saving the investors and helping them, right?
Yeah.
It's a stretch, but it's not technically wrong. But, yeah.
Like, I mean, I truly believe that the politicians doing this don't think they're doing the wrong thing. You know,
sure
they think
don't.
they're helping, but not. They probably don't understand how it all fits together, and you know, they think they're solving a problem. Whether that problem exists or not is another question.
Yeah.
So maybe it's like malicious ignorance.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think it's more ignorance than thought, at least.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out the problem they're trying to solve, but I just don't see what problems kill switches will solve, because the kill switch will only control stuff on the contract itself. Like, I can see that it will prevent people from withdrawing their money, but again, the exploit won't be found out until money has left the contract already. At that point, you can't really do anything. So, like, what is the purpose of the kill switch?
Yeah.
You're just preventing everyone else for leaving the contract. So you're just holding all the other investors that didn't do anything wrong hostage while something. It doesn't make sense to me at all. I don't see a scenario where the kill switch works to prevent money from being stolen.
Right. Well, I think we've mentioned before, like, you can't really stop a malicious dev, right? I mean, there are going to be people that are malicious actors. And, you know, like with anything, like, there's still scammers on the phone. And God, how long has the phone been around? Like, you can't stop that. You can deter them by having consequences and punishment and being able to find them and take action against them for malicious activities, but you're not going to stop them all across the board.
Right.
And it just seems unreasonable to think that you can do that in any space when you, like I said, you haven't been able to do that on the telephone.
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys. If they would embrace it and actually protect investors and create punishments for malicious devs, make it easier to find them, easier, all of that. But like we've talked about, the kill switch does not do that. Does not help.
It enables the wrong behavior.
Right. It only makes it easier. The part of the security of blockchain is the immutability, right? And now you're taking that away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's an odd choice.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I suppose it gives them more control, like, and in the end, that's what it's all about. But because then do these kill switches, do you have to act on them on authority demand, or do you have to allow authorities to control the kill switches? Like, it's easy to assume that's the direction they are wanting to go with this. Like the authorities would have access to these kill switches. But yeah, it still doesn't make sense. But well, for a government, it makes sense, because then they can see, oh, this smart contract is being used for malicious stuff. Like, let's just take the money laundering, for example. Like, we see that people are using this for malicious stuff, so we just activate the kill switch, all the money's gone. All right, crime solved. Move on to the next one. Clap yourself on the back, and yeah.
Good job, team.
Being the government has never been easier. I mean, that's literally the only scenario I can see where kill switch would make sense.
Yeah.
But still, it's not saving anyone when money gets stolen. So definitely not for the investors. Yeah, it just seems like such a blind move.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a bit sad, because it's just pushing the technology further away.
Right.
And I mean, some people will appreciate that.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what they're catering to.
Banks, what? Who said banks? No. No way.
No, banks couldn't possibly be against blockchain technology.
No way.
Well, cryptocurrency, I guess.
No way.
The worst part
Impossible.
is it's been proven already that blockchain, at least as a technology, will make banking so much more efficient. Like, just have the banks as normal. Just use blockchain instead of whatever old, like, extremely ancient technology they're using today. It'll be so much faster to do banking. Not to mention, you can do it like all the time. Like, you don't have to use opening hours in the banks. Like, when I transfer my money to you, they are transferred to you. Like, I don't have to wait for my bank to open on Monday morning and then figure out if they want to do my transaction today.
Right.
I don't see why. Well, obviously, I understand why they would want the technology to be mature, but I would say after Bitcoin being around for more than a decade, I think it's pretty safe to say that blockchain as a technology works. As far as I know, Bitcoin has not had any exploits happen on Bitcoin itself. The actual Bitcoin network has never been compromised, as far as I know. Which I think is a statement to blockchain as a technology actually working pretty well.
Right. Creating secure transactions.
Yeah, and if you look at it purely for the purpose of making secure transactions and easy transactions, trustless and immutable, like what more would a bank need? Well, I guess control, but you can build that into the blockchain that you're making for banking. Like people know that banking is a controlled area. I don't think anyone would have a problem with banking, quote unquote, blockchains being centralized. Like it's fine. Because it's already a centralized system, so just upgrading a centralized system doesn't like it. That's just an improvement,
right?
But yeah, I suppose the fear that the banks have in general is that like blockchain doesn't. We don't need the banks. We don't need the facilitators of transactions. But I mean, there will still be a need for banks because banks insure have some parts of your funds will be insured when you have them in a bank. They won't when you're your own bank. So like that alone means that banks will still have a purpose. Like there will still be people that want to keep using the banks, but there will also be the people that don't want to. And I guess that's what the banks are afraid of. They will lose customers. But yeah, it would also be a big upgrade. Would basically be instant banking.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't have to worry about like chargebacks and stuff. I guess that would be the only downside, maybe. As well, unless you use a third party, but like once a transaction has happened, it has happened. So like the concept of credit wouldn't exactly apply again unless you, but I guess even today you would have to use a mediator for that as well. But
yeah,
I think it would be more difficult to enable that system on like a blockchain based system because it's already happened on the blockchain, so you can't just like roll back the transactions. Ideally, obviously, if it's a centralized system, you could. But yeah, I don't really know how it works, how all credit and chargebacks and stuff works today. But it's not the banks getting fucked. I know that much.
Can't have that.
But I imagine you would. Yeah, and I imagine you wouldn't be able to do the same if it was based on blockchain, because then the money would have been moved from the bank. So if the bank like has to do a chargeback, it would have to be out of their own pocket, and then they just have to hope that whoever they transferred money to will honor the chargeback. No, I think credit is going to be an interesting challenge to beat in blockchain. Like, how do you make credit for blockchain? I don't think you can.
I don't think you can, because that's a problem, because credit's how you essentially, debt creates more money, which, I mean, it's a mess. Yeah. It's like that's kind of how, I mean, that's why we have a debt driven system.
Yeah, that's it's kind of interesting, but again, I'm not used to having an economy that's based on being in debt. So like credit, I don't even own a credit card, never have.
Oh man.
I have my debit card and that's it.
Well, so like individually, you can't. I mean, I guess you can. Like lots of people do it. They take out debt and then buy property, and then I mean, it's a strategy.
I mean, in the U.S., it's so debt driven.
Yeah. But I would
Like,
distinguish.
everyone-
I would distinguish loans as one type of debt and credit as a different type of debt, because the credit is more like I don't have all the money I need, so I'm just gonna buy it on credit and then I pay back the loan like short term. Where a loan,
Right.
for example, if you buy property, then you take a loan for that, and then you have like an agreement that says this loan is over this period of time, blah blah blah.
Right.
So like that, and that's fine. I don't mind like bank loans and borrowing stuff for the purchase of other things. It's just credit that I don't understand, because credit is usually quite small amounts. But I guess it's a privilege I have that in my country we don't really have many people that have to live on credit. While I imagine that might be a bigger problem in the US, where some people actually can avoid it.
Oh yeah, the average. I actually saw this statistic recently. The average person in the U.S., or I guess how should I say this? On average, people in the U.S. have $10,000 in credit card debt.
Like monthly or
Like
They
total.
just carry it.
Oh,
They
over.
carry it, yeah, on average. Like, I don't know exactly how they calculated it, so I'm trying to find the right way to like phrase it. But on average, people in the United States have $10,000 in credit card debt, and that's probably like total credit card debt divided by the people in the U.S. So like some have more, some have less, whatever. But $10,000 in credit card debt.
So this is where like every month you will have a debt of 10,000. So you will pay off like some of the loans, like some of your credit that you already have, but you will take new credit. So you will always be roughly around 10,000 in credit. Is that
probably? I think some people probably prioritize it, pay it down.
Yeah.
But I think there's also there's another thing playing into this, and there's a large number of people in the US that live paycheck to paycheck. So something like 40 or more percent, I forget the exact number, in the US live paycheck to paycheck. So all it takes is one mechanic bill that you don't expect to fix the car that keeps you in a job.
Yeah.
And then you're in credit card debt, and then you're paying it off, and then if something else happens, it's this like cycle that I am sure contributes to that. But I did think that was interesting. $10,000 is sort of the average in the U.S.
Yeah.
We're not even talking mortgages, student loan debt,
automobiles.
Oh yeah, like all of
brutal.
that. Yeah. So the U.S. is very much a credit and loan based system.
Yeah.
Which has been interesting because, like, they also don't teach you about it in school.
Yeah,
I don't know,
I think
Ludius, I don't know if you got any knowledge about credit scores, credit cards in school. I know I didn't.
No, not in high school.
Like, I learned how all of that worked through experience and talking to people about it. Over and over and over, and then found out that the whole credit score system is like made up.
Yeah, and I think it's very much on purpose that people aren't being taught about it, because
it sure seems like it.
The system won't work if too many people know how the system works.
Right, and there's so much more money to be made if people don't understand exactly how it all works. They may not make as much money.
Yeah.
So it's been interesting learning about that. And there are ways to make it really work for you. Quite honestly, if you and I am doing this personally, so this is why I'm like so interested in it. If you really sit down and consider, all right, I'm going to get a credit card that gives me cash back or points on gas and groceries, and I'm only going to spend, use the credit card for that. If you really target your cards based on how you're going to use them, you can get some good free money. Like for example, the Amazon card gives you 5% cash back on all your on every dollar you spend. You're like, well, shit, why haven't I done that? You do it, you pay it off at the end of the month, and it's free money as long as you don't carry the balance.
That's it.
Yeah, and that's where my alarm bells ring, because when it sounds too good to be true, it usually is.
Right.
So what's the catch?
It's not. The catch is that people can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's really not it's not necessarily like any deceit. It's just that people just can't do it.
Yeah, you have to be able to pay off the balance at the end of the month, and that is the trouble. That's where people are like, well, my credit limit is this, so I can just spend up to that, and then they don't pay off the balance, and any benefit you really get is zeroed out. 5% cash back doesn't mean anything when you're paying 20% interest.
Yeah. I wonder if that's why we don't have that kind of credit cards here at all. Like, the only credit card we have here is I can go to my bank and tell them I want a credit card rather than a debit card, which allows me, in the situation that I don't have enough balance on my bank account, I can go in negative balance, and that would be my credit. And then I pay like huge fees for being in minus, which is why I don't want to have a credit card, because I don't want to pay large fees for being like $1 below my balance. Yeah. So like a debit card is fine for me. It cuts off at 0, and it says, well, if you don't have enough money in the bank, then the purchase will be declined.
Yeah.
But we don't have this like third-party credit card where they offer all these benefits for using credit cards.
Right. I mean, there's a whole subreddit about how to use the benefits without getting any of the negatives. But there's obviously like very strict rules on how to do that. But I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, the first time I heard of this kind of credit card with chargeback and stuff was Binance, actually, the Binance card. But I don't think that's not based on credit, is it? It's any purchase that you make with the Binance card, you will get, what is it, like 5% or possibly lower now, I don't know.
Yeah.
But that's not, I don't know, is that considered a credit card? Because it sounds more like a debit card to me, because you're just paying with your crypto, but you still have to have the balance in order to spend it.
Well, people intermingle the words.
Yeah.
Not thinking about,
But I don't think Binance is advertising it as a credit card. They are just advertising it as the Binance card, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, unless they're extending you the risk of bearing your credit debt, it's not a really credit.
I've never heard that like credit used in the same sentence as the Binance card, at least. So to my knowledge, it's never been discussed as a credit card, as far as I know.
Now, this will blow your mind, Hisha. In the US, they have things that you can get to help build your credit without having the risk of a credit card. They have prepaid credit cards. So you put money into this account, and then you use your non-credit card.
I was like, it's more like a savings account.
Right.
It sounds more like a debit card.
But it counts towards your credit score. So it allows people to build credit without having the risk of a credit card. I'm like, what
it defeats the purpose in a way. But credit score is also something we don't use here. Like, at least it's not something that I'm familiar with that we use. Like, I imagine, like, every time you borrow money in the bank, like, you will have some Like they will look at your situation, like what's your job, what's your background, and all of that, and then they will decide if they want to give you the loan. But
yeah,
as far as I know, there's no score, like, because we are not, like, I've never been forced to borrow money, or I've never been recommended to borrow money for anything. That, like, we don't have to borrow money.
Man. In the US, you like live and die by your credit score at a certain, age. Like eventually, like now I have a mortgage, I have a car, all that, like whatever. But your credit score is like a major piece of your like financial well-being.
Yeah.
In the US, and it's administered, or it's driven by private companies.
Yeah,
that tell you what your credit score is.
Yeah.
And make money on products that help you boost your credit score, which they are telling you what it is.
It's funny how that works, isn't it?
Like, how the hell does that? Who thought of this system? Well, I know who thought of it, but Jesus, that's fascinating. Fascinating.
But yeah, that sounds extremely alien to me. Like, that's not at all how it works here.
Amazing.
I mean, we have a lot of other problems as well, but so it's not like I'm living in utopia and we have our own problems. But at least the financial system here makes more sense. At least in my opinion,
Yeah.
I'm sure it makes. Well, actually, I'm not sure it makes sense to you guys either. But yeah.
Like, I understand it.
Yeah.
At this point, or I have some understanding of it, but it certainly does not make sense.
Yeah.
Fascinating. Oh, before I forget, actually something Eternity related. There is a thread in the Discord for a new item, character specific charms. Go down in, so if you go to our Discord and you go to under the support category in feedback, check out feedback wanted. It's pinned there. Character specific charms. The team is looking at implementing a new equipable item for each character. They'll be character specific and they'll drop in certain encounters. And they will provide very specific boosts to those classes, like different, like augmenting abilities, that kind of stuff. So if you have ideas, check out the feedback wanted under in the feedback forum under support. There are already some really good ideas from the community. The team is looking for more. So we're trying to involve everybody, community, in how the game is getting developed. Go check it out. Throw out your ideas. Just wanted to throw out a plug for that before I forgot.
Yeah, that's a good plug, definitely.
I have not, because I feel intimidated by how good the ideas are.
Yeah, I haven't looked too much into it either, but I'm just wondering, because it is, I think one of the main focuses was exactly the stuff about enhancing some abilities.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just wondering, what if everyone is using abilities that I'm not using? Then they want to get abilities buffed that I'm not using, so I don't get a benefit.
Well, I think there'll be like multiple
Yeah.
items for each character, so you can tailor your play style with characters.
Yeah, that would make sense.
To your charms.
No, I just for some reason that made me think of leveling gear in World of Warcraft. That would be pretty cool as well. Imagining if the charm item actually followed your character.
Right.
So like
it gains experience.
Yeah, but also like it adapts to your playstyle, maybe even. Like, I think that would be cool. Like, the more you play with certain abilities on the character, it will adapt to improve those abilities when it levels up, maybe.
That would be cool.
It was just something that thought of. I don't know why, but something that you said made me think of that. So you would like find it early on in the quest, is what I would imagine, and then it would basically follow your characters.
That would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of add a new value to that item.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like very personal.
Mm-hmm. That'd be cool. And with the eye level, I mean, if it could gain eye levels too, you really keep it all the way through.
Yeah, but I think that would be the point of it in the first place.
Right.
I think at least that would be what I would put in a charm item.
Might be a good use for glory or some like valuable token to allow you to purchase these leveling items.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be interesting.
And it would actually be something that would make sense as well. Like it could be that you can get a limited amount of them by just playing the game, because I don't like paywalling stuff away. But having the ability to buy additional ones, like if you don't like the chances that you had, like let's say you can get 3 or something without paying anything, and then you end up fucking all 3 of them up, then you can... well, maybe it should just be that you can pay to reset the level on the items, on the charms. Kind of like the scroll for the skill points.
Yeah.
I think that would probably make the most sense.
Some interesting ideas here for sure. Ooh. And while we're talking about the Discord, it looks like there is one of our players has put some eye-level items in the auction house for anyone interested in getting a boost.
Maybe I should look at that before they're gone. I'll have a look after this battle, see what if there's anything interesting. I don't think I have enough gold for any of it though. At least the times I've been looking at the auction house, it's been extreme prices compared to how much gold I have.
Yeah, there have been some really pricey items, but I've seen some pretty affordable stuff go in there recently too.
Yeah, I'm sure they are well priced for what they give, but it's just way above my level.
I mean, I think there's there's a staff in there now for like 50 gold. That's actually really nice, even where I am on level of floor like 80, 85 right now. It's a good boost for me. I haven't gotten it. I don't think it fits exactly with my characters, but might be worth checking out.
Oh, you can even see what chain it's on. That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, once they get the off-chain auction house, it'll be really nice.
Yeah, I think that the auction house will really take off when it goes off-chain.
Yeah. And I mean, luckily, gas is cheap.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
now, so it's not too bad.
I think it's more the extra time that you need to synchronize stuff and the complexity of that. I don't think it's that it's expensive to do. It's just annoying to do comparatively.
Yeah.
I think that's really the difference.
Yeah, the syncing desyncing thing has been weird, at least for my older items. Just because I typically started syncing some of them, didn't sync all of them, so now I'm like having to parse out which chains things were syncing to and which they weren't, and all sorts of stuff. So it's been a little bit of a pain.
It's also nice that the auction house technically doubles as both a market and an auction house, because most of these things are only listed to purchase, not to bid. So it's more like a market than an auction house for most of the stuff. There is one though that you can bid on.
Yeah. That's true.
But I guess it's nice to have both options. But it would be nice if more people actually made auctions and not just listings, I guess. I think it would also make it more fun to participate in the auction house when you can like actually bid on stuff instead of just oh, I want to buy this.
Yeah.
Right. But then you run into it. I think the issue is probably it still being on chain because people don't want to do a transaction every time you bid. Like that makes sense. It could get a bit much.
Maybe that could be another improvement we can do when the auction house goes off chain as well.
Yeah.
So the bidding is just off chain, and then it's just like when it concludes will be the on chain part or optional on chain part.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good way to do it, for sure.
But yeah, I see what you mean. The stuff does look quite good.
Mm-hmm.
I notice I don't see eye level because I imagine some of these items are eye level items because they seem extremely good for level 50 items. But it doesn't tell me the eye level.
Right. You can't see the eye level, but
yeah, not when you open. Well, no.
Sort of guess based on.
It says item level here. I thought item level was eye level, but this says item level 1. This seems much better than an eye level 1 item.
Yeah.
Huh.
That might be an oddity in how it's displayed on the
could be
auction house.
At least it doesn't seem intuitive to me.
Yeah.
But I'm not that used to auction houses in the first place. The first auction house I heard of was World of Warcraft, and I never participated in that. So I don't really know what to expect. I'm just having difficulty finding what level these items actually are. Because this looks incredibly good for just a level 50 ring. It has like 160,000 health and 16,000 focus.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the high level items that the community member posted in the Discord.
That would be my guess as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it annoys me a little bit that I can't see just how high level it is.
Right.
Because I also feel like it's very easy to buy an item that is like high level and then it just takes away much of the game, I feel, in a way.
Right.
Like it's nice to being able to just plow through floors in the Dark Tower, but if there is like a middle way where I just can get unstuck and still play the game, I think it's I would probably prefer that, at least for the time being, rather than just spending all my gold and then just plow through the game. But I guess that would get me more gold, so in a way I guess it isn't a bad thing in the long run.
Yeah. I think I've worked myself into an impasse at this battle.
Oh. Yeah, I think we are also reaching the end of the stream here, so. Alright. So, on those words, unless anyone has any closing comments, I think we will we'll be ending the stream here. Doesn't sound like that's the case. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed listening in, and hope to see you around on the Discord, which you can find. Pretty sure we have it in the description on both YouTube and Twitch. Otherwise, it is discord.gg/EternityRPG. Yeah, and we look forward to your comments in the suggestion thread for the charm items. They can definitely be interesting for sure.
Yeah, definitely check that out. We'd love any and all feedback from you guys.
All right. Well, hope you guys have a continuous good week and also good next week. This week is coming to an end, so also good next week. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.